Good afternoon, everybody. Tess Crawley here, clinical and forensic psychologist and director of Dr. Tess Crawley and Associate Psychology Practice. I'm just about to talk to you all about a topic that I was asked to discuss today. So I'm just sharing this into the Stigma Rebellion page because it was actually a member of the Stigma Rebellion that requested this topic today. So if you're not a member of the Stigma Rebellion, you might want to actually have a think about joining. It's what's called a closed Facebook page, so it's a more private forum so that you can make requests or comment on videos without all your Facebook friends and family knowing what you're doing. So today I was asked, or earlier today I was asked to talk about what happens or how to manage anxieties or past traumatic events, or just the past really. What happens when the past is intruding on your sleep and keeping you awake at night. So I'm just popping this also into our other Facebook pages, so our Hobart Perinatal Psychology page and our Rural Psychology Tasmania page as well. And there it goes. Okay, so let's have a look at where to put this laptop now that I've picked it up. Excuse me for a minute. So if you've not joined the Stigma Rebellion, it's really easy to do. You just search for the Stigma Rebellion on YouTube. Not on YouTube, don't do that. Search for the Stigma Rebellion on Facebook and the group will come up, and all you need to do is request to join and I will welcome you aboard and proudly thank you for being one of the many stigma rebels. There's a number of people in the group now. It's a really growing little community and it's in its early days, so we're just finding our feet in terms of people feeling brave enough to speak up and ask about certain topics. So I really encourage you to do so. It's a group that's based on respect. I monitor the group personally, so you know there's never been a problem in any of my Facebook forums. I must say that everybody has been so amazingly supportive, not only of what I do but also of each other. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more private, then perhaps the Stigma Rebellion is the one for you. So when we're talking about daytime worries and past worries that are interrupting our sleep, we could be talking about a couple of things. So it could be that it's affecting our ability to get to sleep at night. It could be that we're being woken by bad dreams or worries that are playing on our mind during our sleep, affecting our dreams. And it could be also that it's causing us to wake early. So we call that early waking, of course. There are a number of things that we encourage people to consider doing as a number of strategies to help with sleep. But first I wanted you to think about two little scenarios, fairly benign scenarios, to get you thinking about what are some common sense things that you might be able to do. So the first thing is, think about if you have children or if you remember to your own childhood, how do you handle a bad dream for a child? What do you do? So the child's woken, they're distressed, they've had a bad dream. You comfort them, you reassure them, and you perhaps turn the light on and show them that everything is as it was when they went to sleep. And then you reassure them some more and support them to get back to sleep. But that act of turning on the light and noticing that everything is as it was actually does inform part of one of the strategies that we encourage people to try when they've got trauma impacting their sleep at night. So something that I'll get you to think about doing is just before you go to sleep, so just before you turn all the lights off, have a look around your room and see what you can notice. So there's my wardrobe, there's my chair, there's the painting, there's the window, there's my writing desk. Okay, then you turn the light off, let your eyes adjust to the darkness, and once your eyes have adjusted to the darkness, go through it again. There's my wardrobe, there's my chair, there's my painting, there's my window, there's there's my desk, and noticing the difference of how the shapes in your room look once the lights are out. Then when you wake startled in the night, go through that process again. There's that, there's this, there's that, there's that. Going through calmly, calming your breathing down at the same time and reminding yourself of where you are. So it's kind of like a little late night grounding strategy that can help you just re-cement yourself in your present moment of where you are in your bed, in your bedroom, with all your familiar things around you. So that's one thing that helps to settle down some of that panic feeling that you can wake up with sometimes. So you can try that one, see how that goes. Another thing that's really valuable when you're struggling with sleep anyway, but especially if it's anxiety or if it's past trauma or if it's worry that's affecting your ability to settle to sleep, to get back to sleep, or to feel calm upon waking early in the morning, is to use that diaphragm breathing that I talked about early on in one of my anxiety videos, and use that breathing to calm your mind, calm your body. Pay particular attention to how the weight of your body feels in your bed and the weight of your bed sheet feels on your skin. So you're really paying attention to some sensory input so that you're not being caught up in what's going on here. You're paying attention to your breathing and you're paying attention to what your body can feel in that, again, in that present moment of you in your bed with your blankets and your sheets on top of you. Now, there are lots and lots of different ways of practicing mindfulness skills, and there's one in particular that I often talk about, which is, using each of the 5 senses. And I don't think I've done a video on that yet, but I do plan to do a full video talking about those mindfulness techniques. But you can certainly Google mindfulness and come up with some strategies. And there's also lots of great mindfulness apps. I highly recommend the Smiling Mind app. And if you are pregnant or a new parent, Mind the Bump is a mindfulness app for supporting you through pregnancy and beyond. Right, now then, what's another one that's a really useful strategy that I've been talking to a lot of people about lately, and this one really helps shut down that rumination, like that noisy track. Now, this one, you know what it's like. This is the second scenario. You know what it's like when you wake up in the night and you need to go to the toilet and you think, oh, I don't want to get out of bed, it's cold out there, I don't want to get up, I'm warm and cozy, maybe if I just go back to sleep it'll go away. And you know how you toss and turn for 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 minutes before you finally decide you might as well get up and go to the toilet. As soon as you've been to the toilet, you go back to bed, you're straight back to sleep. If you'd just gotten up to go to the toilet when you first woke up, you would have been back to sleep so much sooner. So worry is a little bit like that at night time. There are a number of strategies that we can use to help switch off that worry and or at least derail it so that you can put it aside. Everything seems worse at night time. Everything seems 10 times louder. Every worry that you've ever had is going to pour into your head in the middle of the night and just rattle around like an old tin can and keep you awake. So we need to derail that cognitive stuff. We need to say, how can I, like that act of just getting up and going to the toilet in the middle of the night, how can I do something that I probably don't really want to do because I really just want to roll over and go back to sleep, but the worry is stopping you. You need to derail it, just like going to the loo. Hey Frank, hi Chris, thanks for joining this afternoon. So, simple strategy. First of all, if you wake in the night or if you're lying in bed worrying about stuff, is keep a pen and paper by the side of your bed and then write down what it is that's bothering you. I know when I can't sleep, and I might have mentioned this before when I've talked about sleep, but I know when I can't sleep, it's usually because I'm worrying that I'm going to forget to do something the next day. And I have learnt that for me, I really have to either reach for my phone and send myself an email or have that pen and paper handy and write it down. And as soon as I've done that, I know that that information is safely by the side of my bed or in my email inbox, and I can just go to sleep because I don't have to worry about it because I know that I'll remember to do it in the morning. It's the same with any other worry. If you write it down, you can be assured then that in the morning you've got that list written down. If it's 1 or 2 or 10 things, you've got them all written down in a quick sort of shopping list of worries, and you can worry about them in the morning. Right now's the time for sleep. And I'll bet you $5 that when you wake up in the morning, at least half of those things on your list won't be worth your time. So they were keeping you awake for no reason. And this is so true of many of the things that we worry about in the middle of the night. As I said, you know, they're so much louder at night time. So jot them down and just be really confident that you can address them tomorrow. And then you can roll over and go to sleep. I think for some people that physical act of writing it down, it's a very concrete behavioural thing. So you also feel like you've done something, and that also helps. It's a little bit like a mental trick. It helps you, you know, just sort of put that aside for now and go back to sleep. Now, the other thing that I started off discussing before that I've been talking to a lot of people about lately is an app called Calm, C-A-L-M, Calm. Really great app. Lots of meditations, nature sounds, relaxation music, and stories. And what I like about the stories, kids, there's a kids section, so there's a great sleep section for kids in this app. This is there's a free version where I think you get 1 or 2 examples of each of their different modules. But if you do subscribe as a paying subscriber, you just get more of each. So you get a lot more variety. I'm finding with my kids, they're loving the bedtime stories. It's really helping them to settle off and relax down into sleep. And the stories are all told in a way that they start out bright like a normal bedtime story, but as they progress, the voice gets slower and softer, and it's kind of just gently lulling them off to sleep. The adult stories are the same. They're quite interesting. Some of them are non-fiction stories. And some of them are read by Stephen Fry. So if you know who Stephen Fry is, he's got this lovely sort of deep, resonant sort of voice. It's just going to carry you off to sleep. So when you're lying there worry, you can't concentrate on those worries and the story at the same time. So I would say to you, you know, practice that breathing. Listen calmly with that breathing going on and that quiet, you know, diaphragm breathing, that relaxed breathing. And listening to something like a story from the Calm app will again derail that rumination that's going on at night. Okay, so we've got a few strategies there. We've got the you know, when you wake in fright, the reality check. So that's what that checking your room, that's why we get you to do it before you go to sleep, to remind yourself so that when you wake in fright, you can do that reality check, and it's a little bit of a, phew, I know where I am, I can go back to sleep. We've got the writing the list, we've got the breathing, we've got the focusing on where you are in your bed with the weight of your body in bed, the weight of your blankets on yourself. We've got the Calm app. And of course, I do encourage you to practice those mindfulness strategies that I mentioned through the Smiling Mind app. The breathing, you can practice that calm breathing. There's a great app called Breathe by Reach Out. So these are both easily accessible, and Smiling Mind and Reach Out apps are all for free. So you can join us. Hi, Judy. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining. So you can practice some of those techniques through those apps, and a lot of them have sections specifically on sleep. Beyond that, if you are really struggling with trauma and you are having flashbacks and you're quite distressed at night and you're not getting enough sleep to be able to function well the next day, you might need to seek some professional support. So talk to your GP about that, talk about a referral to a psychologist or somebody else, and just find out what's going to be the best way to go for you. Be mindful that sleeping medications, when they're prescribed for you, they're a good temporary band-aid measure. They'll perhaps reset your sleep or give you a couple of nights catch-up sleep, but they're not a long-term solution. They are quite addictive, and what that also means that the longer you take them, the more that you need to get the same benefit, and they can be quite hard to come off. But if you're taking them only every now and then as prescribed by your GP or your psychiatrist, keep in contact with those prescribing professionals about how you're going and how often you're using them, just so they know what's going on for you. And again, get some professional support from a psychologist or other mental health professional if you are really struggling to get enough sleep to function the next day. But anyway, I hope those little strategies have at least got you thinking about some ideas that might help for you. As they come to mind, I will suggest others down the track, no doubt, as well. But do feel free to ask some questions. Let me know if that was helpful, of course. And I look forward to talking to you all again tomorrow. Have a great Sunday night. Bye-bye for now.